appears that the moons are aligning in Edmonton finally for, the market appreciation aspect. As we said, cash flow is strong in Edmonton today. Our purchase prices are still low. Mortgage principal reduction is going to be a constant, but it looks like we're starting to trend in the right direction.
Hey gang, let's get right after it. Russel Westcott here. So in this clip from a recent discussion I had with my business partner in Edmonton, Jason Mattern, we discussed the Edmonton marketplace. So a couple things here. Guys, this was filmed in early 2021, and I clipped this part out for you for the Edmonton market update. In this conversation, we discussed supply, demand, listings, sales, in-migration, international capital. We also talked about a softwood price increase and also a shortage of new home supply in the Edmonton marketplace. So one of the things we talked about in this video as well, and if you guys are interested in getting more information, if you want a deeper dive into the research about what's happening in the Edmonton marketplace, we talked about putting together some research reports or maybe hosting a webinar. If you are interested in having that webinar or interested in getting that information sent to you, all you have to do is just like this video, comment below that you'd like to see more of this information, and we'll know that as a sign for us to put the time and effort to do that. You're going to thoroughly enjoy this conversation, so let's get after it.
Absolutely. And this is where it's actually going to start off with my first question is I saw a stat, and I think I saw it yesterday, that across Canada, now we're going to dive into Edmonton, but this is a Canadian stat, that the inventory of houses for sale is at its lowest it's been in 30 years. Is that statistic holding true in Edmonton right now?
Yeah, I think, I don't have the exact stats in front of me, Russ, but I mean, at the end of the day, we've seen record sales in Edmonton now since July. We've almost set consecutive records, July, August, September, October, and then again into December again. And this is just, something that we weren't prepared for, I guess, looking back 8-12 months or whenever the COVID back in March and looking at some of the economic reports that we were seeing at the time, we were seeing forecasts really from CMHC where they were forecasting a price drop of 8, or 9 to 18%. I can't remember the exact numbers, but quite frankly, the opposite has happened. We've seen record home sales, which has led to price increase because it affects the old supply demand situation. And in Edmonton today, I can tell you the home buyers are still absorbing. Our absorption rate is still very strong. And it even continued through the holidays, which was kind of weird because usually we, were able to take a couple weeks off but we were still submitting offers and getting offers on our listings throughout the holidays, which is great news. So I think, I guess to answer that question, I'm careful because saying the Canadian real estate market, that's like saying what's the weather like in Canada, and Edmonton is its own little marketplace, I guess. So, things are looking very good here. Now, just to build off that, what I will say is where we're keeping our eye on things moving forward is probably coming into our spring market here now, and just to see the amount of listings that pop up and see if the absorption rate is matching that. If we get a lot of listings and the absorption rate is there and we're keeping, balanced, that's probably a pretty good indicator that we're getting into, a balanced and maybe even potentially a seller's market in due time. If we get a lot of listings and, we see the inventory levels remain high, it's probably going to be an indication that we're not quite there yet, right? But you know what? The good news with the real estate market, it is a living, breathing thing, but it's slow, Russ. We can, I think, read these signs if you know where to look, and we as real estate investors can react to that accordingly, right?
So I guess if you can really kind of consider it as with what's happened with COVID, it's almost, I know you and I shot a video probably about 4 years ago now about the best time to sell your house when, the spring market starts going. It's usually in February, the home shows are coming on, the first warm Chinook comes through, all that kind of stuff. Is that going to hold true, do you think, this year? Or is it just all bets are off, really, of what's going on in Edmonton?
Well, I guess both to answer that. When I say it's holding true, it's held true right through, since July, August. The throttle hasn't, we had maybe just a couple days over the holidays where it slowed off for a bit and the phone quit ringing. And I think really with just people being at home with COVID and everything else, and, they are inquiring and looking at these things that maybe when we're busy in our normal environment, we don't normally look at, right? But I think the spring market every year, I think it's happening earlier this year. I think we're already off to an amazing start. And there's just right now there's no indication that it's going to let off with the low interest rates and everything else happening, right?
Yeah. So, and Jay, you've also, I do have a couple questions here. So guys, just as an FYI, as a course of action, there could be 3 episodes that are going to come out of this one as well. I have 3 big giant topics. One is going to be an Edmonton market update, and then also a couple really core training concepts that Jason is famous for that he actually taught me, and I'm going to be sharing this information with you guys. So, okay, so Jay, so still staying on the theme about what's going on in Edmonton, and this is one of the conversations that you and I have had. Are you seeing an influx of international money coming into the Edmonton real estate marketplace right now?
Well, I don't know if the word is influx. We're certainly seeing interest and appetite, and we're seeing international investors from the other side of the world. When we say international, coming and investing in Edmonton real estate, and I'll use the term aggressively. And we've got people, even at a national level, a lot of people from Ontario, a lot of people from Vancouver. I think the cash flow situation in Edmonton is very attractive. We're getting great cash flow. Our purchase price is relatively low compared to the national average, if not really on the low end of the scale. The rental market is very strong here, and I think it's just continuing to get stronger. We're really seeing it at a personal level, I say, with some of our rental turnovers that we're having, we're actually being able to implement rental increases. So, the purchase prices have, quivered a little bit, the rents have gone up. The interest rates are super low, as we all know that fact. So it's just led really to increased cash flow. And I think that's the driving factor, in international investors. It's been a while since I've seen that, Russ. I mean, we've seen it back in 2006 and 2007 where people were, interested in Edmonton real estate. But we're seeing, people, aggressively coming in and buying waves now. And I'm just not quite sure what to think of that. I mean, I think overall for your marketability and selling real estate, it's a good thing, but where's that going, I guess, long term,
Yeah. So, and Jay, as somebody who has exclusive homes for sale, and there's lots of inquiring from capital from all over the world, I guess, how do you think about that? You just say thank you, correct? Right?
Well, at the end of the day, it's still got to find the right property. But yeah. I tell you, with the last, several years in Edmonton has not been easy. It's been limping along. And, we've been very, very fortunate to have so many great investor relationships across the country and, even around the world to some aspect. I guess any time when you have multiple buyers sitting there clamoring for your product, it's a great thing. Like I say, we're enjoying it. However, we're not taking our eye off the ball of, being able to still procure the right stuff.
Yeah.
For our investors, right?
Well, it's been 12, 13 years since that's really occurred, has it not? And I know in one of our other videos, now guys, just as an FYI, one of the reasons why I'm asking this question is on my podcast and my YouTube channel, my second most listened download podcast and second most watched YouTube video is the one that Jay and I did with Why Edmonton, Why Now Real Estate, right? So there's a lot of people inquiring and want to hear an update on this as well. So, okay, so international money is coming in and they're buying houses, and they're buying houses in fairly large quantities too, are they not, Jay?
Yeah, it's not onesies and twosies. We're adding a zero to the backside of that, and just getting to know these individuals and what investors are trying to do. Obviously, we've got a little bit of a long-term plan that we'll establish to be able to maneuver financing, to be able to stagger properties out, and to be able to attract tenants. So it's just kind of a nice domino effect of things taking progress. But we're seeing investors coming in, really acquiring 20, 30 units at a time. And in some cases, we're doing some larger multifamily projects that are upwards of 200 units at a time. So, like I said, it's been a while since we've been in this circumstance, and 12, 13, 14 years, whatever it's been. But, we'll see where it goes. Like I say, I almost feel unsettled yet, Russ. And why I say that is because, this whole COVID thing is throwing everything for a twist. And when we sit here as investors and we look at, economists that we, follow every day and follow on Twitter and follow news feeds, and they're forecasting the bottom to fall out. And you know what, that very well might still happen. But, it's just been almost, like I said, a complete opposite that's happened in Edmonton. And when I talk with other investors from Vancouver and Toronto, I don't think the throttle has let off in those markets in the real estate market either. I can tell you, quite confidently talking with these individuals, it appears that Edmonton is at a completely different end of the market cycle than a Toronto or Vancouver. And, I think the mainstay in Edmonton is we've got, great cash flow. Mortgage principal reduction is going to be a constant regardless of where you're buying. But it's that capital appreciation aspect, I think, is where, we're really poised for a lot of upside moving forward. But as I said, it seems unsettled, and there's a lot to play out with that yet.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Jay, you've been on record. I think we even recorded it as well, but you've been on record of saying that in Edmonton, you believe that there's going to be a new housing shortage, a new homes shortage on there because of a lack of land, lack of serviceable land that's available. Are you still seeing that trend, and are you still sticking to that story?
It's probably not so much of a trend, Russ, as a reality, and it's maybe even happening quicker than we anticipated back last fall when we were talking on a video and we said, "Hey, there's a land shortage coming," and just talking with our builder and our land developer relationships. There's going to be a gap, and the gap is serviced land. We're seeing builders have chewed through inventory at record levels over the last 6 months as well. Along with MLS resales as well. So most builders are sitting where they're washed out of spec inventory. They don't have any standing inventory, and most of them are in, a pre-built environment now. What's going to happen is there's only so much of that land available this year, and once that sells, there's going to be a gap. And understanding, I guess, the development side of, when they can develop and when they're digging in the frost of when it comes out of the ground, it's probably going to be late fall, August, September, October, before builders will get their opportunity to get more serviced land. So if you're looking at when that serviced land actually comes on, and then there's going to be another 8 to 10 month gap probably before the house is even built, there's a significant gap of probably almost 12 months being able to get new homes, that we're forecasting. Like I say, it's becoming a reality where we're seeing, builders now that, we're already to a point where we're selling into land positions that the development's not even done yet. It's a piece of dirt yet, right? So the good news for real estate investors is, we've still been able to lock in our prices today, as the builders are tendering their prices and getting, the prices for services and supplies, in order for themselves. And, we're still able to lock in our contracts today and our prices today. But the closings, really, Russ, we did some last week already that was scheduled into February 2022 already for completions. So yeah, it's happening.
So just so I can bookend this and summarize this. So why is it important that we know that if there's going to be a shortage of new homes that come on, that, especially if the demand is strong. Let's think about this. This is my 6th grade Saskatchewan education coming in. If demand is still strong of people buying properties and the supply is really, really low, if not, it's non-existent, right? That to me bodes well for a market that's going to go up in price, and it's going to ripple out into the resale market, and it's going to lift all the boats up, and the price is going to go up. Would you not agree to that?
Well, again, Russ, it's already happening. I mean, some of the discounts, and this because you bought some stuff in the last year. So, I mean, we were getting some heavy discounts, on some new construction, and in the resale market, some heavy discounts. The stuff in the new construction market now, we're not seeing the big heavy discounts that we were. There has been a round of price increases based on softwood lumber prices that happened back in about August time, early September. So we've officially seen a price increase across the board, a moderate one. It's not a crazy one, but when you start getting that old supply demand, out of balance, I guess, if you will, at a builder developer level. I mean, it's just business 101. They're going to, most likely take advantage of that and profit as they can. And, so I guess where I'm going with that is, if you're interested in new construction real estate, you can still lock in your price, put your deposit to work. It's a small deposit. And really, we're going to move the closing out. So you're just going to, reserve your spot, I guess, for lack of better terms, right?
Yeah. And for those of you in Vancouver and Toronto and places like that, you would understand what it means to potentially lock your price in today and then close on it in the future in a market that has poised to have some fundamentals that is going up. I don't have to probably put 1 and 1 to make 3 here for everybody as well. So Jay, if you were just when investors call you and talk to you, what would be your best summary about the Edmonton real estate market right now?
Well, I think, and people have probably heard me say this several times, it appears that the moons are aligning in Edmonton finally for, the market appreciation aspect. As we said, cash flow is strong in Edmonton today. Our purchase prices are still low. Mortgage principal reduction is going to be a constant, but it looks like we're starting to trend in the right direction with capital appreciation. And the one point to that, is to understand that, as real estate investors, our assets appreciate at asset value, not our down payment level. So, and if we're putting $100,000 into the market and buying a $500,000 property, and we see collectively 10% over a couple of years, that's $50,000 in appreciation, not $110,000 or $10,000 on the down payment amount. So. But like I say, that's my feeling, my gut feeling when I see the kind of activity and the urgency that's in the market for people to get into homes. We're seeing our days on market drop. We're seeing all the spec inventory evaporated. It's just getting to that point where it's borderline multiple offers. And I can tell by our sales velocity right now, people are starting to get that, I don't know if panic feeling's at the right, or that what's the fear of being left out type thing.
The FOMO,
kind of starting to happen already.
Fear of missing out, a little bit of FOMO. So
yeah, and it's happening a little bit, right? It's crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Stay tuned, guys. We will keep you updated on this market because that's one of the things that everybody's looking for. Is everybody's looking for marketplaces where their money will work harder for them than they work for their money.
If you'd like to continue your journey as a successful real estate investor, only 2 simple next steps from here. Number 1 is please subscribe to get all the latest information and latest videos sent directly to you. And over here is a hand-selected video, a video that's been hand-selected for you to help you keep moving forward with velocity. Thank you very much.